What up, YouTube? Today we have got a 2012 Dodge Ram 1500 with a 5.7 Hemi in it. Got to do the upper control arm and ball joint. The ball joint is bad on this one, but control arm and ball joint together was cheaper than buying each part separate. So, went ahead and done that. You got an 18mm bolt up here on the front. You got an 18mm bolt back here on the rear. I used my long snap-on 3/8 ratchet, 18mm short socket. Be sure you lubricate the bolts when you go to pull them out. That way the little bit of rust that's on them doesn't affect anything negatively. To get this out, first thing you'll do, pull off your tire. Next thing, you're going to come to your inner fender well, pull out your inner fender, pull out the two plastic clips that hold it in here and here. They're the little Phillips push clips, so you can either take a flat head or the little tool. I've got the little tool laying somewhere over here. But you can pop the plastic pins out. When you do, pull the inner fender back. Hang on just a second. It's made of plastic. It has wiggle room. Hold on, let me set the phone down. We'll be right back. Okay, now that you got your inner fender out, you're gonna come up here and you got room to put either a ratchet or an impact. I have a 1/2-inch impact that I use. Get it on the head of the bolt here, bring it out, and then you go to the back side. Come to the back side, you want to have the same exact length bolt on this side. Pull it out with your ratchet and an 18mm short socket. Now you've got your upper control arm loose. Got your top two bolts out. Now you're going to move down to your ball joint. The ball joint is held in with one 21mm nut and a cotter pin. Once you remove your cotter pin, you're going to spin the nut halfway down. I like to stop it right where the top of the nut is flush with the bottom of the threads. Take either a hammer and tap right here. Be careful, this is a cast part, and if you hit it too hard, it will break. So what I like to do is take a pickle fork, put right there, take a hammer, and you tap it in, and it pops the spline, well, not spline, but the cone shape out of the steering knuckle. Okay, now that you've got your ball joint loose and you've popped it out of its home, what you're going to do now is you're going to unscrew that 21mm all the way. Now, do note where you have already loosened your upper control arm. Uh-oh. Pick up your hardware. Don't lose any hardware. Now, where you've popped that loose, ow. Pinch your finger. That's not necessary, but you can do it if you'd like. And pull the old one out. And then what you're going to do is come over to, shout out to O'Reilly's. Always having the right parts when you need them. Come over to your box from O'Reilly's, open it up, and you should do this before you leave the store, which I did. Verify that your part that you got matches the old part that came off. That way you're not putting the wrong parts on or can't even put a part on. Okay, so when you get your new control arm and ball joint out, what you're going to do is you're going to remove the nut off and remove the safety cover. This is just something for shipping. That way it doesn't get the boot doesn't get damaged in the process of being moved from store to store, from the factory to a store. So once you pull that off, now you're going to do the reverse steps of putting everything back in. Hold on just a second. Let me get this set and you'll see what I'm looking at. Side note in this. Whoever came up with these in the automotive industry, the stop nut is what I call them. It's a nut with a piece of metal either welded to it or forcefully fit onto it. That when you twist it either way, it stops itself and you don't have to have a tool to hold that nut. You can just back it out with a ratchet and keep going. Okay, so now I don't know how well I'm going to be able to record this, but what you do from here is, now that you've got your bolts and your nut started back on both sides of your control arm, mounted back to the frame, what you're going to do now is you're going to pick it up and you're going to reset the new ball joint inside of the steering knuckle. Hang on just a second and you'll see what it looks like. Now, also another side note in this. These ball joints are serviceable, which means you can pull them out and replace them. All you need is a set of C-clip pliers, or ring pliers, whatever you call them. You can take this ball joint out and actually replace it that way as well. This one is completely shot and done. You can wiggle it around like a joystick in a game console. It's done for. So, but you can get by with just doing the ball joint on these stock control arms and leave the control arm attached. But I recommend, if you're going to do one It's just a couple more bolts to do the whole thing, and just know that it's good to go. Now you're going to come back and get 3 plastic clips, 2 that hold the inner fender cover to the bumper, and then there's another one for a mount that just holds it in place right here at the edge of my finger. I don't know if you can see it. Yep, right there. When doing the clips for the inner fender, best thing to do is put your hand back in here, push the inner fender itself towards you, and then push them in. That way they seat properly and it holds the inner fender properly. Now you don't have to worry about it. And then repeat the same process for your bottom. Okay, now that you have successfully put in your 2 clips here on the bumper and then your 1 main clip, which you can barely see for all the dirt on it, but that clip right there, once you've now replaced all that, everything is now tight. You took your 18mm socket of whichever, a ratchet or an impact, and tightened down your front bolt and your rear bolt. Now what you're going to do is you're going to come up here and take a 21mm socket and tighten up your ball joint. Also on this ball joint, this little piece right here, you can take, I do believe it is a 10mm, yep, a 10mm socket, and then take a wrench that is a 21 and tighten this down and hold the shaft of the ball joint. That way the threads don't spin and you can actually get this tight. You shouldn't have to where it's new, but sometimes you will. It's just hard to tell. It's 50-50. Okay, now that your ball joint is tight, 21mm socket and ratchet, you've tightened it up. Take a 21 or 3/4 wrench, put on here, and see if you can get any more turn out of it to make sure it's good and tight and you don't have to worry about it backing off. One other thing that will help is this nut has thread locker in it, which helps hold the nut in place and it will not back off by itself. But always good to double check yourself, make sure everything is always tight. I did this up here right before we started on the ball joint. So let's throw the tire back on and see what it looks like. Correction, got ahead of myself. Next big step you do, once you have completed everything and you've double checked all your bolts and nuts and hardware are tight, clean up your mess. Put it all back up, put the tools up, make sure you didn't forget anything. All right, now you got your tire on, putting on all your lug nuts. You don't have to put those on in any certain order. When you go to tighten them, you're gonna do a start pattern. So start at your top, bottom left, far right, far left, bottom right. Tighten and torque in that pattern, that way that as you tighten it down, it evenly tightens across the front of the hub and it doesn't cause it to kink up on one side or a lug nut not to get tightened properly. Just one way to be safe when working on your vehicle. So it'll be your top, bottom left, far right, far left, and then bottom right. Now a lot of people will go back over them, just hit your first 3. If your lug nuts don't keep eating your sockets, that is.
One eternity later.
Hold on. Anyway, people will go back over a couple of them, just make sure they're all still tight. Once you do that, if you have a torque stick, you can use one, a torque wrench, excuse me. 110 foot-pounds of torque is what I put on these trucks. Dodge Ram pickups anyway. They're a little bit beefier, so a little more torque doesn't hurt them. I think they call for like 100 foot-pounds. I just add 10 on top. All right, YouTube. So you have now successfully learned how to do the upper left control arm and ball joint on your 2012 to 15 or 16 Dodge Ram pickup. Got any questions or comments? Saw anything that you would have done different? Leave a comment. I will gladly read it and get back to you, and y'all have fun. I'm gonna go and get ready for my normal real job now. YouTube, we'll check in again. One more little PS. O'Reilly Auto Parts. If you happen to come across this video, hit me up. I would love to do like a sponsorship or something like that. I buy your products all the time. That's what I run my little business with, is nothing but O'Reilly's parts. I'm really highly satisfied customer. Y'all put out great products, great tools, and you're always there when you need help. So, O'Reilly's, shout out to y'all.